Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing, and for those that are watching for the first time, I want to say thank you. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. So today we're going to be learning how to make this basic jacket block. So let's get started. Welcome back to class. So today we are going to be manipulating the basic bodice block to derive our jacket block. So we are manipulating this block to get this jacket block. So what we are doing today is a jacket block, and the jacket block, the difference between the basic bodice block and the jacket block is that it has sufficient ease around it to be able to wear it over another fabric. Let's say the light soft fabrics like the chiffon, the satin, the blouse, the bodycon dresses. It can be worn over it. That's the difference between this basic block and the jacket block. So what we are going to do is to add more ease around it. The features of the jacket are the wrap, the lapel, and lapel marked by a crease line, and we also have the collar and shoulder pad, shoulder, and the shoulder, additional shoulder, and a bigger armhole. Those are just the characteristics of this jacket block. Like I said, it's just basically increasing this block, making it bigger, have more ease to be able to fit in other dresses. We need to be able to wear it over another dress. So that's what the jacket block is. And the first thing you're going to do is to trace out your basic bodice block. And when tracing it out, you should consider your waist shaping that you did. Remember when we're doing our basic bodice block, we did half waist plus 2.5 cm or 2 cm. You can use half waist plus 2.5, 2 cm and 3 cm. So for this pattern I used 2 cm. So you should be able to understand or know the measurements you're working with around the waist, because the reason why I'm saying this is because for the jacket block you have more ease around the waist than the basic bodice block. So you are required to have about 6 to 7 cm ease around the waist of the jacket block. But you can do less than that. That is determined by the design of the fabric, how close fitted you want the jacket to be on your body. So the basic waist measurement is around the waist is 6 to 7 cm. So you can reduce it, like I said, depending on the style. So when you're drafting and calculating, like withdrawing your dart, because sometimes when the waist is too much, most of the darts goes to the center front dart, and we have more. It's in, like it takes out of the waist because you want to tighten it. So you have to consider that. Now before you add your dart or you mark your darts, you have to now divide your waist, half waist plus the amount of 6 to 7 cm, which is the required dart measurement. Waist measurement is around the waist. Then whatever is left is what you now add as your dart. You now use to construct your dart. But like I said, depending on the design, you can use less than that. So I will be working, like for this measurement, the waist is big. I'll be working with the 2 cm ease that I have on this waist. So I can't take out of it, or I cannot take add more darts because the waist is big enough. So this is perfectly fine. But for those that have a smaller waist, like I said, or after retracing, instead of you using the same measurement that is used on your dart, on your pattern, the basic bodice pattern, recalculate your waist, half waist plus 6 to 7 cm, or if you're using 5 or 4, half waist plus 4 or 5 cm, then you calculate what you have. The remainder is what you're now using as your dart. That being said, let's get started. The first thing you're going to do, like I said, you trace out your body's look. Then at the center front, you're going to have add additional paper at the center front and at the top of the pattern. And this will be used for your wrap and your collar. So that's that for the tracing of the paper of the body's look. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the back, and what we're going to do is to increase the MP. So step 1 is to raise MP by 1 cm. Come here, on your MP you raise it by 1 cm. SP you raise it by 1 cm. Then at the point of SP, you're going to go out by 0.5 cm also. You might be wondering why we are going out by 1.5 cm since we have 1 cm, 0.5 cm at the SP, since we already have excess around our shoulder. The reason is that we're going to increase our back width, and we need the 0.5 around this place to be able to withdraw our armhole. So the next thing you do, you connect this space to this point of your new SP. So this is your new SP, this is your MP. You're going to withdraw your neckline from the new MP. Withdraw your neckline. This is your new neckline. I'm going to redraw this with a marker so that you can tell the difference between the new MP, SP and the rest. So on the back line, this needs to be clear. On the back line, I'll mark 0.5. You can use between 0.5 to 1 cm, but I'm going to use 0.5. Okay. Then I'll come down at the UP. I'm going to mark 1 cm down. Then I'm going to redraw my armhole. So this is now my new armhole. From my new points, my new SP, I'll connect to my back line. Then I'll redraw my armhole. It's now a bigger armhole. So this is my new armhole. I'm going to use a marker to make this clearer for, or to help differentiate between the new SP and the old one. The next thing we are going to do is to come to the hip line. I forgot to mention that after tracing out your pattern, what you need to do is before you trace out your pattern, or after tracing out your pattern, you determine the length of your jacket block. Like for me, I increased my length to 31 inches. You can use less than that. You can use the exact measurement of the basic bodice block. You can, depending on the style of the jacket, you can use exactly just the length that you prefer. But for the purpose of this basic bodice block and this basic jacket block, we are using, I've increased the length. You can use the exact hip measurement or exact length of the pattern, which is 75 cm long. This is where it stops. This is my hip line, which is the broken line, the initial hip line, which is the broken line. Now this is the length. This is now the new length of my pattern, which serves as my hip line. So now on this new hip line, I'm going to come in by 0.5 cm. So in other words, you're reducing it by your hip measurement by 0.5 cm on the hip line. Then on that new hip line, that new 0.5 cm that you just took in, on that line, you're going to come down by another 0.5 cm. Then you connect this 0.5 cm to the hip line, the one down to the hip line. Note, it has to connect back to the hip line, it shouldn't be below it. Connect back to the hip line. So this is what it looks like. Then this is my new hip line. But before I connect my hip line to my waistline, I'm going to redraw my underarm seam. And if you need to redraw your underarm seam, you have to come in by 0.5 cm. Now note, like I said, the waist of this pattern, it's big as it is. We don't want to, it is big, and we only have 2 cm ease around it. And if I go in by 0.5 cm here, I will still go in by 0.5 cm at the front of the center from the waistline of the center front, and it's going to eat into the ease. At the end of the day, I'll have 1 cm ease, and I don't want that, because at the end of the day, this jacket block is going to be a fitted jacket block, not just fitted, not the very loose one. So I don't want to go in by 0.5. All I'm going to do is to connect this hip line that I reduce to the old waistline. Then note, if you have sufficient ease, like I mentioned earlier when I was explaining the ease around the waist, if you have sufficient ease, it's fine. You can now mark 0.5 here on your waistline. You connect your new underarm seam to that 0.5. Then you connect the 0.5 around the waist to your new hip. But if you don't, it's fine for you to connect back to the old waist and connect to the old waist from the UP, so that your ease is still intact. I'm going to mark the one for ease. I'm going to mark the 0.5 because in most cases you have sufficient ease. Some people's waists are smaller, so I will help you to understand when you have enough ease that you can take out 0.5. I'm going to mark it here now so that you understand what I just explained. Then I'm also going to explain, like I've explained, I'm also going to indicate the one that does not have, that I didn't take out the 0.5. So let's assume this has 0.5. this has enough ease, so I'm going in by 0.5 around my waist. So this is my 0.5 cm around my waist. So all I'm going to do is to redraw my new armhole. Redraw my new armhole. It's just simple. So the new armhole, I'm going to use a broken line to indicate the 0.5 cm that the underarm is going to pass through. Then also indicates with my new hip line, the broken line, indicate with the broken line to my new hip line. So in other words, if you have a bigger waist, a smaller waist, you're going to redraw your armhole, passing it through a 0.5 cm around the waist. So that's what this is all basically. So this will now be your new side seam for those that have enough ease. But for me, for this pattern, so this is it. For this pattern, I am going to just connect to my new hip with a clear line, not a broken line. I hope this is clear. I'm just doing this for the purpose of clarity. So if I come across a client that has a bigger waist and I need ease around the waist, I don't have to eat into the little ease I have. All I have to do is to connect back to my waist measurements when we're drawing my underarm, the new underarm seam. All I have to do is to reconnect to my waist measurement. That way I still have my ease intact. So this is it. This is the this broken line represents the 0.5 cm taken in for those people that have enough waist ease around their waist. Why the straight line? So note, this is going to be taken out. So let me shade it. Why this this is the line. This is going to be taken out also. So for those that have straight ease around the waist, this is their line, the broken line. Why those without ease around their waist, enough ease, you connect back to your original waist measurements. This is the line. So this is it. So that's the explanation that I wanted to give. And this is this about the back, but I'm going to use the marker to make it clearer so that you can tell the difference. So I've gone ahead to use the marker to mark this clearly. So this is the part we are tracing out now, the part with the marker. So this is the line. This is the side seam that has the original waist measurement. Why the broken line with the pencil is the one that has that passed through 0.5 cm around the waist. I mean, I took out 0.5 cm. I took in 0.5 cm on the waist to redraw the underarm for those that have excess ease, a pattern that has excess ease around the waist. So the broken line is the one indicating the one that has the excess ease at the waist. Why this line with a marker indicates the one that does not have ease around the waist. So this is what our new bodice block, the jacket block, now looks like. This is where we're cutting out from. The purple line, we cut it out. So we've added ease around the waist, not the waist, we've added the neck point, the shoulder point, increase the armhole, reduce the hip, and also increase the length of the hip around that side. Then we connected it back to the waistline, to the hip line, so it's not exactly on the hip line, it's not longer than it. So this is the back. Then if you still want to, like I said, if you don't want it really really fitted, you want to suppress the ease, you can, or you want to increase the ease rather, you can take 1.5 cm on the slanted back instead of 2. So redraw your slanted back. That is for loose fitting, for the loose fitting block of this jacket block. But for this is just the basic jacket block, and this is the back. It also depends on how fitted you want it. So like I said, this is 2 cm ease around it, and that's what we're working with. We're done with the back for now. Then we'll go to the front. So for the front, we're going to also raise the neck MP, SP, and widen the necessary parts that needs to be widened, and increase and also decrease. So the first thing we're going to do is to, on the MP, we're going to go out by 1 cm. That means we're increasing the neckline 1 cm. Then we're going to also raise it up by 1 cm. When you go out by 1 cm, you raise it up by 1 cm. So you widen the neckline by 1 cm, you're raising it up by 1 cm. The next thing we're going to do after doing that is to raise our SP by 0.5 cm to 1 cm. But because we have 1 cm at the back, sorry, we have we're raising it up by 1 cm, by 0.5 cm, the SP 0.5 cm. That's for the front. For the back we use 1 cm. For the front we're using 0.5 cm. Then we're also going to increase it, move it out by 0.5 or 1 cm. But I'm using 0.5, so I'm going to move it out by 0.5. So this is my new SP. I don't know if this is clear. I raised my SP 0.5 cm here. Then I'm taking it out by 0.5 cm. That means I am increasing the length of the dart by 0.5 cm. So this is my new MP. This is my new SP. The next thing I'm going to do is to reduce my shoulder dart, and from this side, inner leg dart, I'm going to measure 1.5 cm in from the inner leg dart. Then after that, I am going to mark on this that leg. I'm going to come out, move it 0.5 cm towards this side. Then I am going to reduce the shoulder dart, the dart leg, by 2 cm. So basically we have 2 cm below the bust line. Our shoulder dart is usually 2 cm below the bust line, but we are going to move it up by 2 cm. So moving it up by 2 cm, we're going to redraw our dart. So this will now be 1.5 cm here taken in, because we are reducing the dart leg, and we're also reducing the width of the dart. So we'll now redraw our shoulder dart. I'm going to take this from here. I'll connect. Then this is my 1.5 cm. I'm going to redraw my shoulder. So this will now be my new shoulder. I am going to clean this so that it's clearer. I'll convert this into a broken line. Old dart into a broken line so that we know the darts we're using. So this is now our new dart, the shorter dart and the reduced width is now our new dart. So this is our new dart. These are new dart. The next thing we're going to do is to redraw the shoulder dart. Redraw the shoulder dart, which I've done. Then after that we are going to pin out the dart, the new darts, to redraw our shoulder. So you take your new dart, going to crease it. This is the new dart, the new inner dart leg. Take it to this, and you're going to redraw. Going to redraw your shoulder from the new MP, the 1 cm that was raised to on the MP, 1 cm that was taken out to widen the neckline, then 1 cm that was raised up. You connect that 1 cm to 0.5 cm on the SP, which was marked. You mark to the new SP and you use your tracing wheel. You trace so. This will now be your new shoulder. This will now be your new shoulder. This will now be your new shoulder. Then we're going to indicate by marking it with the marker. So I've used the marker to mark to make it clearer. So this is our new shoulder line, the part where the marker is. Then this is our new dart, the part where the marker is. So the next thing we're going to do is to now reduce our UP by 1 cm, just like we did with the back, so that we'll have an equal on the arm point, 1 cm. Then after that, we're going to go on our chest point or chest line, mark 0.5 cm there. So we are drawing our armhole. So we're going to connect our armhole, the new armhole, the new SP to the new chest point. Hope this is clear. So we draw our armhole. Take your curve. That's your new armhole. Still going to use the marker to make it clearer. The next thing to do is to come to the hip point and take in 0.5 cm like we did to the back in on the hip line, then 0.5 cm down also. That we will have the same length with that of the back. Then the next thing to do is to redraw our side seam. Our side seam, like I said, since we don't have enough ease, I'm just going to connect this new hip line to the waist. But if you have enough ease, you're going to go in by 0.5 cm around the waistline. So connecting this to the waist, to the hip from the waist, then I'm connecting my new UP to my waist. Nothing major. So this is it. So I'm going to highlight it with a marker so that it's clearer. It's clearer here. So my 0.5 cm that I took in around my hip point, I'm connecting it back to my original waist because I don't have excess. So then connect my UP to my waist. Next thing I'm going to do is to mark a 0.5 cm around my waist at the CF. So I'll come here, I'll mark 0.5 cm on my waistline. New CF line, then 0.5 cm here. Then I'll come to the down part of the pattern, the hip point of the pattern, and mark 1.5 cm. So I'm going to connect from my CF nape of the neck with a ruler. I'm going to rule this new CF line, passing through the 0.5 cm on the waistline that I just measured to that 1.5 cm at the hem. This will give more allowance around the hip line of the jacket block. So I'm going to highlight it with the marker so that it's clearer. So I've highlighted it with the marker. This is now our new center front. This is now our new the one with the marker is now our new center front. That's the line we'll be working with. So we indicate new CF. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to connect this 0.5 cm at the hip line that we measured here. We'll connect it by dipping it. So on the hip line, like I was saying, you connect to the new CF. On the new CF, which is this purple line, you're going to measure 1.5 cm below. Please note that on the center 0.5 cm that I marked here to on the CF around the waistline, and I mentioned you mark 1.5 cm here. You don't have to, there was a mistake there. So what you do is to measure your 0.5 cm here, take your ruler, a straight ruler that is long enough to get to the length of the block. All you have to do, just place your ruler from your nape of neckline, which is this. Like I said, you just place it after marking your 0.5 cm. You just place from your nape of neckline here, then you place your ruler to the hip point, and you just rule. At the end of the day, it's the placement that will determine what you have at the hip point. So this is not up to 1.5 cm. This is about 1 cm. So it's safe to say 1 cm around this part. It's your ruler that will guide what you're going to get around the side. So back to connecting the hip point to the CF. So on the CF, the new CF, you measure 1.5 cm here and you connect. You connect that 0.5 to this 1.5 cm. This will now be your new hip line. So I'm going to highlight it with the marker so that it's clear. It will now serve as your new hip line. The next thing you're going to do is to withdraw the neckline. So we're going to connect our 1 cm that we took out from the MP. Connect it and withdraw the neckline. Draw it to this point. extend it to the CF. Extend it to the CF, and I have also highlighted it. So this is now a new neckline. The next thing we're going to do is to mark our wrap. You can use a 3 cm wrap. It varies. You can, depending on the design, but for the basic of this basic jacket, we're going to use 3 cm. So the wrap varies from 6, 7, 8, depending, even 2, depending on the type of jacket you're making. So from this my new CF line, I'm measuring 3 cm to create my wrap. Then I'm going to roll a line. I'm extending this center front to the wrap, measurements. So roll, just connect. So this is our wrap. I liked it. So this is our wrap. I have highlighted it, and this is what it looks like. So this is what the front looks like. Basically, this is our front. The manipulated jacket for the front. So this is it. The next thing we are going to do after this is to now create the lapel and the collar.